Are you sending your music out for sync opportunities and never hearing anything back? I audited over 300 tracks last week, and 9 out of 10 of them died for the same 3 rookie reasons. I'm going to show you how to flip those mistakes into real placements using the same steps our Sync Alliance members use to land 4 to 5 figure placements on stuff like Netflix and Nike commercials. Because pitching for sync actually is kind of like pitching for a job interview. If you walk in there with a smelly outfit, hand over a resume with coffee stains, and forget the important parts of your application, you'll be out of there before you have a handshake. So when I reviewed these submissions, I asked 2 very simple questions. What's your genre specialty and where does it fit in sync? And most artists froze when they saw this question. They gave me super vague answers or no answer at all. Stuff like kind of R&B, hip-hop-ish, stuff that maybe could work for sports. Like sports? What kind of sports? Answering like this is no clarity, which means there's no hire. Music supervisors, normally when they open emails, that's the first thing they're looking for is the micro genres and moods that they might be searching for. But 95% of artists I reviewed couldn't even name a single show that they were targeting. So here's how to fix it. We're gonna check this out and then we're gonna break this down. Say there's anything particularly wrong with this track, but what was interesting is that the only thing you said as far as with where this fits is just sports. But a lot of the stuff that we listen to that is in the background frequently used is not boom bap, which also wasn't even in your description. It was just, here's the link. So what I would probably do if I was pitching is 3 different things. 1, what era the music is in. 2, the mood or vibe. And then 3, the sonic twist, as I like to call it. So for this track, I would say it's like dark, gritty boom bap for sports promos. Specifically, what sport though? That's the thing that we have to pay attention to when I'm tagging my music to make sure it looks as best as possible. We need to prove that the lane exists. Now, from your submission, you said you're already getting placements. You just like them to be a little bit more steady. If you focus on where this actually fits and pick a lane, that might actually help because sports is a very broad genre. And to prove this, I found a bunch of ESPN clips. So I don't think it's for football. Check this highlight reel out.
Camp coming up about a month, and the Packers are going to move on
right
from
there,
one of the league's
offensive line. It's a top 5 technization to sit back and say, you know what?
Imagine and how he handled himself.
Now, back intact. This was one of the youngest he was.
You see what I'm saying?
I know, that's what I mean.
Now, obviously, sometimes there's in-game things that I'm not actually allowed to share. The gate for hip-hop and sports might be a little bit narrower than you think. Let's check out, I think this is basketball.
Through trade scenarios, and Sean's reports the teams that have expressed interest in
truly going to be able to get a say here. You have to have a good team on the other's $100 million contract extension. He is eligible.
I could say that's hip-hop-ish. Let's go further.
Next level. He's a superstar, but Anthony Edwards can become a supernova.
No boom bap.
How many times coaches are in a hot seat? So if you have coaches at other places that have stability.
So as you see here, it's a lot more narrow than you think when it comes to this style. So the secret to possibly getting more placements is really doing the research and finding out exactly where your music belongs. So after you're finished watching this video, go to your EP that you're going to pitch out and put those 3 tags and at least 2 shows that it fits in. If you want a review like this, whether it be on your music or your pitch, make sure you submit to our sync audit sessions down below in the description. They're free. This is the difference between being background noise in somebody's inbox and sounding like a pro. Even if your genre is perfect, the deal dies the moment they click. See, this is what I'm talking about right here. Google Drive is the bane of my existence. If you send a streaming link out and you actually cannot access it, like, you think a supervisor on a deadline is going to actually sit here and request access? So unfortunately, we can't hear this song, but I even tried another one with Box. Now, granted, this kind of works. It's a streaming link. I can listen to it, which we're going to do now. But the other problem with this is the only thing I have is a name, and it's also an MP3 file, which is not used for broadcast standard. But we'll listen to this and then I'll show you a better alternative. Nice. I think that this definitely has some sync potential. It can easily be used in reality television first off the rip. Could also be used in sports. The thing I would probably do to make this a bit more syncable is, one, music-wise, we probably need another melody on top of what you have here, because it is a bit spacious, and that could be used well for things to talk over, but you also want to make it feel like the music stands on its own without needing a vocalist on top. Platforms like Google Drive or Box weren't really built for music. There's no waveform, horrible stem organization, and sometimes there's even scary download warnings. I'm not getting no virus, and I'm also not asking a supervisor to unzip a file just to hear my hook. Hard pass. So I can't tell where the different points or sections of your song are. There's no visible metadata. Is this a downloadable streaming link? It's not. So even if I liked it, I'd really have to get in contact with you in order to actually check this track out for different opportunities. Instead, I like to use Disco. Disco was actually built for a music supervisor. It's already in the format that they normally use. It gives them instant playback without committing to downloading, organized stems and alt versions, visible metadata, no login required, and your contact info is right beside the track, which is extremely helpful, which is why Disco and other platforms like ReelCrafter are actually the industry standard nowadays. They see your link in their pitches, they tap it, and now they can check out and see if it works for them. Inside of our private community, the Sync Alliance, we actually give a discount for Disco memberships because the goal is to make the music supervisor's job easier. If their job is easier, that's when the placement starts showing up. Here's what's interesting though. Even if the song is perfect, the website's really nice and put together, sync deals still die because of this main thing. Last week, 65% of the tracks that I reviewed had no split sheet information. The PRO information was missing, or there was like 5-6 writers and 3 publishers. There's zero chance that's actually being a one-stop clearance. Nobody want to mess with that. Reason being is because ad agencies and networks specifically work on 24-hour deadlines sometimes when it comes to clearing music. If they can't clear it right then and there, they move on. A Netflix supervisor that came into our community mentioned that if they can't hear and clear your track within 60 seconds, they skipping it. Okay, let's listen to this last track from Cade.
Forgot other people can hear me. Okay, so I'm going right now. Look, I've been taking my time to get to the top. Yeah, you say you got some stress, but you know I got a lot. Ay, every time I do a show, you know the crowd march. Every time I make a song, you know that thing. You know that thing. You know that thing. You know that thing. Yeah, look, okay, I looked up to some people, but they faker than me.
This is dope. I think that the vocals are really great, especially the choice of lyrics. I really like this line, repeating hot over and over again. We got to find a way to do that like as much as possible, because I think that's what really sells this song. But the thing that we're actually focusing on, which, I mean, you're doing most of everything right. You gave me distinct where you felt like this could fit, which was like fast food, fashion brands, stuff like that. I think that works. You're using Disco. It's easy to save to my Disco if I was a supervisor. And I scroll down to the bottom and your contact info is here. You got 2 different writers, and all I have here is your email. Don't get me wrong, that's great, but there's something missing here, and I wonder if you guys can notice. If I go to the example from my track, do you notice something? This right here, this is probably the most important thing that you could ever use inside of a pitch for a sync opportunity. And that's letting the supervisor know that it's one stop, easy, clear. Meaning that even if there's like 8 writers on a song, that's not as big of a deal as long as you only need to contact one to clean sweep, approve, and clear this song for everybody. That's something that is not really known here, even though it's a really dope track. So again, I'm making that job for the supervisor or sync agent much easier than you are because it's already stated. And if they need the paperwork, that can be embedded into Disco too. So that's the only thing that I can really say that's something that you can tweak with our theme of our video today. But like, this song slaps. Nice job. So here's how you're going to fix this in 3 steps. First one, you're going to consolidate your splits. Make sure you keep maybe a 2-party, maybe 3-party max, but make sure you all sign a one-stop agreement and stamp that everywhere in the track when it comes to metadata. Second, you're going to double check whether writer, splits, PRO information, publisher, and contact information is all in one spot. So they just click and voila, there it is. And then again, third step, and it's kind of redundant, but put one-stop easy clear everywhere that it's readable, just so they don't miss it. That way there's no digging, there's no delays, and there's no lost deals. If you actually get these 3 simple things things right, when they actually hear your track and realize it's super dope, the deal can actually happen without anything holding you back as far as red tape's concerned. Then you can start cashing in real checks for your music. So hopefully breaking down all this stuff helps. If it did, and if you want a chance to be considered, make sure you drop your link in the description below. And if you're serious about landing your first placement without sending a bunch of cold emails, join our private community, the Sync Alliance, because you'll get your track reviewed live in front of real industry players, all the stuff we talked about today, and a bunch of extra education reviewed by myself and my team. We basically do your homework for you. All you have to do is just execute. But again, having all this stuff is only the beginning. 2 out of the 3 songs that we actually heard today have really long intros, and that first 15 seconds can make or break a supervisor's interest in your song. So if you want to fix that, watch this video here.